She was the priest's daughter, pure, untouchable, protected by God himself. And he was the village womanizer, a man who broke hearts for sport and laughed while doing it. Everyone said he would ruin her. Everyone warned her to stay away. But when their eyes met by the river, it was already too late. She sneaked out at night, he swore he could change, and together they risked everything. But the village was watching. Her father was praying, and the storm was coming. This is the forbidden love story of Élise and Lucien, the priest's daughter and the womanizer. Subscribe to Haiti Folktale for more stories of magic, love, and mystery from the heart of the Caribbean. The village of Belle Riviere was small but alive, pressed high into the green ribs of the mountains where the mist curled like scarves around the trees, and the sound of running water never slept. Dawn in Belle Riviere came with the crow of roosters echoing through the hills, the pounding of pestles against mortars as women crushed spices, and the clang of goats' bells as they were led out to graze. Smoke rose from clay kitchens, and the smell of roasting coffee beans drifted through the air. By midday, the sun turned the red earth into a glow, and at dusk, drums could sometimes be heard in the distance, soft rhythms that called people to dance, pray, or whisper. The heart of Belle Riviere was its people, and its people loved stories. They told stories at the market while weighing yams, they told stories at the river while washing clothes, they told stories at night under moonlight, with only fireflies as witnesses. And in every story, the reputation of a person lived longer than their body. An elder once said, "Dans un petit village, les paroles voyagent and plus vite que les oiseaux." In a small village, words travel faster than birds. Everyone knew Élise. She was not just a girl, she was the priest's daughter, Father Matthew's child. Father Matthew had come to Belle Riviere years ago, stern and uncompromising, building the chapel stone by stone, calling sinners to repentance with a voice that could shake walls. He lived for the church and demanded his daughter do the same. Élise had been raised in the shadow of the cross, taught that temptation was the devil's tool, and that her purity was not her own, but God's. She was a quiet beauty. Her skin smooth like polished mahogany, her hair always bound beneath a veil, her eyes cast downward when others stared. To the villagers, she was like a lily placed on the altar, delicate, untouchable, meant only for holy eyes. Even those who admired her dared not speak their admiration aloud. Young men who watched her walk past held their tongues, for Father Matthew's gaze was sharper than any blade. But beauty, even when hidden, cannot remain unseen forever. For on the other side of the village lived Lucien. If Élise was silence, Lucien was noise. If she was prayer, he was laughter. If she was guarded purity, he was reckless desire. Lucien's life was a string of stories, most of them whispered, none of them flattering. He had the kind of face that made women forgive him before he even asked, and the kind of charm that made promises sound like poetry. Tall, broad-shouldered, with eyes that flickered between mischief and danger, he was the kind of man who never needed to beg, his smile did the work for him. Ask about Lucien in Belle Riviere, and you would hear many names. Mireille, the baker's niece, who was once found weeping behind the bread oven, her engagement broken because Lucien had charmed her into betrayal. Rosette, the seamstress's daughter, who swore Lucien had promised her marriage under the mango tree, only to vanish when another pretty face appeared at market. Maurice, once the most cheerful girl in the village, now avoided dances, her laughter dulled after Lucien left her with nothing but memory. Each woman he touched was left changed, some bitter, some still longing, as if his love was a fever, fierce while it burned, but leaving the body weak. The mothers whispered, "Ma fille, ne t'approche pas de Lucien. Il est le fou, my daughter, don't go near Lucien. He is fire." But fire draws even when it burns. It was at the river that their paths crossed. Élise came at dusk, when the air cooled and the birds swooped low, to fill her jar with water. She knelt by the stones, her veil slipping, her profile outlined against the last light of the sun. And there, leaning against a mango tree, Lucien saw her. He had known of her, everyone did, but knowing and seeing are not the same. In that moment, it was as if the forest held its breath. "Bonsoir, petite fleur," he said, his voice smooth. "Good evening, little flower." Élise startled, her hands trembling. She kept her eyes low, replying softly, "Bonsoir." Lucien smiled. He stepped closer, careful, like a hunter who knows the prey is delicate. "Why does the sun hide behind clouds, when it could light the world?" he teased, trying to catch her gaze. Élise's heart raced. She had heard the warnings, every whispered story, every caution her father's sermons thundered. But something about the way his voice wrapped around her name tugged at her, a curiosity stronger than fear. She left quickly that night, but when she dreamed, it was his voice that followed her. So began the dance. At the market, Lucien appeared, offering to carry her basket. At the well, he waited, tossing pebbles into the water until she looked up. On the mountain path, he walked near enough to speak but not so near as to scandalize. Each time, Élise told herself she would ignore him, but each time her lips betrayed her with a small smile. The village noticed. Villages always notice. Old women clucked their tongues, young men cursed under their breath, and the women Lucien had once courted hissed warnings. He will ruin her, they said. She will be just another name. And Father Mathieu, he thundered. Élise, he said one evening, slamming his hand on the wooden table, you are a child of God's house. You will not shame your family by consorting with that wolf. Do you hear me? A wolf in man's skin. Élise trembled. Papa, I have done nothing. Nothing. Then keep it that way. If I hear so much as a whisper, if I see his shadow cross your path, I will call down curses from the pulpit. May the heavens strike him, may the earth reject him, may his name rot on every tongue. Élise bowed her head, tears burning her eyes. But love, once seated, grows even in stone. At night, when the moon painted the hills silver, Élise slipped from her house. And Lucien was always there, waiting beneath the great silk cotton tree. There, the whispers turned into touches, the touches into kisses, the kisses into promises. Élise, Lucien whispered one night, his voice stripped of swagger, you make me want to be more than I am. They say I am a womanizer, a liar, a wolf. But with you, I want to change. Do you believe me? Her heart wavered. Could fire truly soften? Could a wolf truly guard instead of devour? But in his eyes she saw a desperation she had not expected, a hunger for something real. Yes, Lucien, she whispered. I believe. Still, the village grew harsher. One morning, Élise found a chicken's heart nailed to her door, a warning. The market women no longer smiled at her. Children pointed, and her father's punishments grew crueler, chaining her to prayers and fasting, keeping her locked away. At last, Lucien said, we cannot stay. This village will kill our love before it blooms. We will run, to the town by the sea. There, no one knows us. There, we can live free. Will you come with me? Élise hesitated. To leave meant betraying her father, her faith, her home. But to stay meant letting her heart wither in silence. Yes, she said at last. Yes, I will come. The night of their escape, the sky broke open. The storm howled, thunder like drums of judgment, lightning tearing the sky apart. Still, Élise slipped into the rain, her bundle clutched to her chest. She ran, mud sucking at her feet, heart pounding. Beneath the silk cotton tree, Lucien stood, soaked, his arms open. But they were not alone. Father Mathieu appeared, lantern high, eyes blazing. Élise, stop, do not throw your soul into fire. And you, Lucien, deceiver. May your tongue wither, may your heart never know rest, may every woman you touch turn to dust. The storm raged, the tree groaned. Some say Élise ran to her father, collapsing in tears. Some say she leapt into Lucien's arms, vanishing into the rain. And some swear lightning struck the silk cotton tree, splitting it in two, leaving nothing but ashes. Even now, in Belle Riviere, when storms roll through the mountains, villagers say you can hear two voices in the wind, one calling in fury, the other in longing, and the sob of a girl carried in the rain. This is the story of Élise and Lucien, the priest's daughter and the womanizer. A love too dangerous to hold, too powerful to resist. A story that asks, can fire ever love a flower without burning it? Thank you for listening to Haiti Folktale. If this story touched you, remember to like, share, and subscribe, so the voices of our ancestors may never fade. Until next time, may your nights be filled with stories, and your hearts with wisdom.